Alright folks, my name is Freyn, and today is Rex here's 10th birthday, so I'm going to be doing a video all about him. You can get to know a little bit about him, see some old clips and pictures I've had throughout the years, and hopefully satisfy some of the requests I've had to do a video like this for a while. He quite frequently introduces my streams, and so I think people have been asking to get a dedicated video for him for quite some time now. Now, it's been a lovely warm day, so I thought I'd take him out to see if I could get a nice video of him. He is a little panicky downstairs. I don't know why. He used to love it when he was younger. In his old age, it's getting a bit panicky. So there, he just flared up and got a bit aggressive. Not because he doesn't like being picked up, not because he doesn't like being downstairs, but because he was falling off the table. And just a little bit of panic. But you can see how quickly he's calmed down. It was momentary. So, where do we begin? This, as I said, is Rex. He is a Rankins Dragon. That's an Australian species, closely related to a bearded dragon, if any of you know what that is. In fact, they're sometimes called dwarf bearded dragons. They get to about half the size. They don't have the large beard that a beardy does, although they can still puff up a bit if they feel threatened. A bit more social as well. They can be kept in groups, although obviously it will vary from animal to animal, just as it does with humans. So from a snout to tail, he's about 12 inches long. He got to that size after about a year, and his expected lifespan is somewhere between 6 and 8 years, so he's doing pretty well. I've had him since he was about 6 weeks old. Here's some pictures from that first week. Looking at him now, it's quite hard to believe how small he was. Absolutely adorable. I mean, he still is, of course, but just so small. I mean, I'm using a lid from one of his food tubs there as a water bath because he was that tiny. No. Yeah, so this is back during that first week, back at the end of 2009. And this is what his tank originally looked like. Bit of cork bark for him to run around on. There's a hollow as well so we can go through them. Some lovely polystyrene background for him to climb about on, and yeah, keeping him on paper towels, as it's generally recommended you do for all baby reptiles, as they can't swallow it and it's easy to clean. Now, obviously this, 10 years ago, cameras weren't quite up to the quality we have now, or certainly mine wasn't, so apologies for the rather grainy footage. But you can see he absolutely loved to explore when he was little. If I put him on the floor, he'd wander off around the whole building. Put him on my desk and he'll wander backwards and forwards, climb all over, up onto my shoulders. He was just so energetic, and he doesn't really get like that now. Most days he'll just sit and bask in his tank. He will climb around a bit and he'll chase locusts when I give them to him. But yeah, when I take him out the tank, he generally just wants to sit there and either bask or go find a corner to hide in. That's why I haven't managed to get too much footage out of taking him downstairs really, which is a shame. Mostly just because it's a lot brighter down there and much easier to see. He generally is alright if he's actually sat on me. He certainly knows who I am, or it definitely feels like he knows who I am, because he will sit on me. If he sees me approaching the tank, he assumes I've got food, so he definitely perks up then. But yeah, he's not such a fan of being out anymore. Not like he was at this age. Now back then I mostly fed him on crickets, a mixture of veg to go with it. As he had a tiny amount of water in his tank, just enough for him to splash around in. But as he's got older, we've gone away from the crickets, and he now mostly has locusts. He does eat a lot more mealworms than he should. Through the years, he kind of went off locust to a bit, and I could only get him to eat them maybe once a month or every 2 months or so. So I mostly had to give him mealworms, which aren't particularly good for him. Doesn't seem to have done him a huge amount of harm though, as I said, he's made it to 10 years, which is outside his expected lifespan. And he doesn't seem to be showing too many signs of problems, really. I do sometimes wonder if he's going a bit blind because he fails to catch his locusts first time. It varies day to day. Some days he's very good at hunting, others he's a bit less so. But yeah, he's getting a bit old now, so obviously slowing down is to be expected. He is an absolutely lovely little fella. Does seem to really like his food still, although mostly the insects. At his age, he should be eating almost entirely veg and not insects. but I struggle to get him to eat veg most days. I'm sure some would say that I'm a bad keeper because I give him too many insects. But he probably has about a 50-50 mix at the moment. Now, after he was about a year old, I transferred him to living on sand instead. I've never had any problems with impaction, where he accidentally swallows some, but you can also see that he's completely shredded the background with his claws from all the climbing over the years. So I frequently have to clean out the sand to get rid of little bits of polystyrene. But this is generally how he lives now. I do change things around every couple of weeks, give him a bit of variety, and I've also got a webcam mounted in the corner. So usually try and keep it in a way that he can be seen, at least most of the time. He's still quite inquisitive and likes to run around just only in his tank these days. If I take him out, he's not so interested in exploring. Just sort of sits and monitors his surroundings. But he will still climb. And not always the most majestic of creatures. Even when sleeping, he manages to somehow be in weird positions. And like all reptiles, of course, he does also shed his skin. Again, not particularly majestic. Watching him run around with a big flap of skin hanging off his back, yeah. He really does love his mealworms and his locusts, though. Doesn't always notice them. It takes a bit of a moment. But he does like them, and he will take them from my hand. Sometimes not always the best thing, though. If he gets a bit hungry, if I haven't given him insects in a couple of days and he really wants some, he will try and go for my hand because he assumes that I'm holding something for him. He's not the best hunter. Not really. He tries, though, bless him. I wouldn't really call him an apex predator. Even in his tank of one. In fact, we've got a little clip here of him trying to chase some locusts. This is taken from the webcam that's now in the corner of his tank. You can see the food bowl there. Compare it to the one earlier. You saw the size of him. It's the same food bowl. The small one on the right there. So you can see the size difference from when he was sat next to that in one of those earlier pictures. But yeah, there's one locust right by his foot that he doesn't seem to have noticed. Goes for that one, and it just completely hops away. He probably got a slight mouthful of sand there, but as I said, he's never had any problems health-wise as a result. And so that's about it, really. I don't think there's too much more to talk about. It's not meant to be an educational, how to keep these animals video. I'm just introducing you to one of my little pet lizards. A lot of people seem to like Rex. I think there's probably more requests to have Rex stream than me stream. I maintain that you'd probably get bored of that after about 10 minutes of him sitting perfectly still. But this video has been requested for a while, so I thought, today being his birthday, it's probably a good time to get it out there. Whether he'll reach an 11th birthday, I don't know. As I say, he's already passed his lifespan by, well, quite a few years, so I must be doing something right. Maybe he will make it to 11, and we can hope. But I'm going to end there, at least for my commentary, so enjoy Rex paddling about for a few minutes. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Do feel free to pop by the Discord. There's lots of pictures and footage of him gets posted there all the time if that's what you're interested in. But for now, that is it. I'll see you next time.